Something else big. If you didn't know, tomorrow is World Mental Health Day.
So ahead of the occasion, we want to shine a light on a topic with an expert. Psychologist Dr. Jasmine Ghannadpour with Children's Health is joining us right now. And doctor, I appreciate you being here today. You know, we heard from Bella a little bit earlier today, 12 years old, who has been going through body image disorder issues. How common is that among kids?
Yes, thanks for having me. It was wonderful to hear from Bella. Her story is not uncommon. We see a lot of kids that are dealing with body image issues, body dissatisfaction, and they turn to essentially disordered eating as a way to cope with that stressor, in addition to a lot of other stressors that kids face. Unfortunately, it's something that we see a lot, and it's something that we're seeing more of in the last couple years.
Doctor, as a psychologist, what's the first piece of advice you give to young people who have, maybe it's a eating disorder, maybe it's some type of other mental health issue, but is there one general piece of advice, one starting point that you try to give to young people when they deal with these issues?
My initial goal is increasing the amount of healthier coping skills that they can take from when they're feeling distressed or feeling upset. So as I mentioned, sometimes disordered eating can become a way to cope with stress. And so if we sit and think about other ways that they find relaxing, or for example, Bella talked about horse riding, which is such a great other coping skill, but also an experience or activity that when she does, I'm sure helps boost her mood so that when she encounters stressors, she has more of a capacity to be able to manage it. So just thinking about other things that bring you enjoyment, bring you energy, help you cope when you're feeling stressed. It doesn't solve your problem, but it helps you get to a better place so that you can make better decisions about what you want to do next.
What are some of the signs that parents should be on the lookout for with respect to their kids and really any sort of a mental health disorder?
I'd say the first sign to look for would be things like social isolation. So if a kid is avoiding hanging out with their friends or spending time with the family, if you have family meals and a kid is wanting to avoid that, stay in their room, saying that they're eating by themselves, for example, any sort of social isolation can be a sign that something might be wrong, but also just not doing the things that they typically would do, things that they typically enjoy doing, or just not functioning in a way that you're used to seeing your child function. I think parents are pretty good at picking up on signs when their kid is just acting different. Sometimes it might be a temporary thing. Maybe there was some sort of stressor that is impacting them for a small amount of time, but if it goes on for an extended amount of time, then parents really want to get help for their kids. And then, of course, there's more serious signs, like if a kid is talking about death or having suicidal thoughts. Absolutely, parents should take their kids to the emergency room to get assessed, to make sure that their kid is really safe and to make sure that their kid hears that they're taking this very seriously.
One last question for you, doctor. When it comes to your kids' mental health, how important is it that you model good mental health? How much does the parent and their mental health and how they talk about themselves reflect onto their kids?
It's extremely important. We all learn through lots of different ways, but one of the ways that we learn is from what we see modeled to us. And so for kids, parents are such an important model to show them we all experience anxiety and we all have ways to cope with that anxiety. And so this is, a way that I'm using to cope with the anxiety. So modeling that for kids is really important. I think sometimes parents feel bad when their kids have mental health disorders because we know part of it is genetic. But something that they can do that can be so empowering is to really model for their kids how to cope in a healthy way.
Yeah, really good information, Dr. Ghannadpour. We really appreciate you coming on. No, it's an important topic and not one that we should stop at just one day of the year, but one that should be continuing.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you, doctor.